I wrote a book called The Inspiring Life of Texan Hector P. Garcia. And that's my father. And he was a UTMB graduate in 1940. And the book is a personal accounting of my father's life and his accomplishments, but also his tremendous struggles to live the American dream. The publisher contacted me. Have you ever thought of writing a book about your father? And I said, no, I'm a medical person. And they said, well, we'll help you. And I said, okay. So fortunately, I had given a talk on my father the month before. So I took the outline of that talk and developed it into the book, of course, with many, many revisions. But they only gave me 6 months to write it. And so we were just one chapter a week. One chapter a week is how I did it. And 5 months they wanted 75 photographs. So we didn't have much time, but I think it was just a gift from above to be asked to write a book. And they said they did not want a historical analysis of my father. They wanted a daughter's perspective on his life, and that's exactly what I did. At a very early age, he's felt discrimination going to school in Mercedes, Texas. And if you look at his life, 7 surviving children, 6 of them became medical doctors in a time where that never happened, and they all immigrated from Mexico. So I think that he just felt the need to help others, and he never gave up. And I think part of his experience in the military gave him that passion. Because he also had to endure discrimination in the military. But when he came back from World War II, he was a physician for the Veterans Administration. He took care of those soldiers returning from World War II. And he heard their plight. They couldn't find a job. They had no money. They couldn't get educated. And that's when he started the American GI Forum. It started as a veterans family organization, but then a few years after that, they went into civil rights for Mexican Americans. So I think he just developed the passion over the years, but he experienced it also. And I think that's why it's so relevant, because he didn't just hear about it from somebody. He experienced it through every stage of his life. And when you have people talking about immigrants and categorizing them all, I think that's wrong. I think trying to deport people that are here, I think that's wrong, instead of trying to help them. Because remember, he immigrated here when he was 3 years old. So he lived all his life in the United States, and I think he would be very disappointed in trying to stop people from voting. I think he would have some serious issues with that. Repealing the Voting Rights Act, trying to provide harder restrictions on people to cast their vote when it's targeted to minorities and the elderly. I think that he would find that very wrong, and he would be very passionate about it, and he would be speaking out about trying to take away health care from millions of people. And I just think those issues, health care, voting rights, and trying to deport people, he would just be all over the place with that. Well, it was difficult being his daughter. I mean, he was very demanding as far as our education, and we had to make straight A's and everything, and so the expectations of being his daughter were very, very high. But we were not well liked in our neighborhood and schools, and so it was very difficult. But we knew that he really loved us and took very good care of us, making sure that we went to school and we made good grades, and he provided for us financially. But it was not an easy time, and now I look back and think, how did I get over all the hatred that surrounded us? But I think as he got older, people understood that he was here to help others and to make this a better country. Anytime you're in the medical field, I'm a physical therapist. I graduated from UTMB here in 1977. I think anytime you're in the medical field, you are here to serve others. If you're a physician, physical therapist, nurse, you are here to serve the public. This is why you're in the medical field. So anyone who goes to UTMB and graduates and gets out to help others, I think you're following my father's footsteps and his mission, because I think that's why you become a doctor or you become a nurse or a physical therapist, is to serve others. And so, yes, of course, we are very happy about our affiliation here at UTMB, and I'm just so proud to be a graduate from here. And he cherished his education here. He really did, because it taught him so much. he was the only Mexican in his class when he got here in 1936. So we know that. I think that he would be very proud that UTMB is a top nationally for diversity and inclusion. You need to have Mexican-American physicians to go out into the community, treat the underprivileged, people who have no insurance, who don't have the health education that they need to manage their own illnesses. And back in the 40s and 50s, he had his own radio program that he would talk about diabetes and tuberculosis way before there was any social media or that was popular. So the education of patients and targeting what is specific to them is very, very crucial. And I think the more diversity that UTMB can generate out to the community, the more relevant. Last year I presented at the Library of Congress my book and book talk, and they had never heard anything about him there. So I think slowly, gradually, we are letting people know about it, and we have developing very good relationships with institutions like UTMB, also Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, where all his documents are housed there. And I just think we just keep pushing along and until he finally gets the recognition that he deserves.
UTMB Health, working together to work wonders.